The release of AI tools like ChatGPT and Bard has taken the whole industry by storm. It's like even your grandma's talking about them. But what if we were to tell you that there is another contender on the market that is going to make the likes of ChatGPT run for its money? If you're living under a rock, we are talking about the latest foundation AI. Let's dig deeper to see if these claims are true. Inflection just unveiled its awesome conversational agent called Pi. They're on a mission to create personal AI for everyone. Isn't that cool? Now, evaluating these language models can be a bit tricky. I mean, how do you measure their quality objectively and systematically, right? But hey, a little competition never hurt anyone. So let's talk about Inflection 1, the name they gave to their model. It's roughly the same size and has similar capabilities as GPT-3.5. How do they measure that? Well, they consider the computing power used to train these models. According to the company, their model is either competitive with or even better than other models in the same league. To back up their claims, they even released a technical memo where they describe some benchmarks they ran on their model, GPT-3.5, LLaMA, Chinchilla, and Palm 540B. It's their way of showing off the capabilities of their creation. Pretty impressive, huh? Inflection 1 has some really cool capabilities. It can do things like generating text, which means it's great at creating written content for various purposes. Need help with translation? Inflection 1 can handle that too. It's skilled at translating languages, making communication across different languages a breeze. There's more. Inflection 1 can be a handy assistant if you want to whip up a quick article or blog post for your website. All you have to do is give it instructions, and it'll carry on by itself. Another banger feature of Inflection 1 is that I can help answer all the raging questions in your mind. If you're thinking about how many stars are in the universe, or how many kilograms equal a pound, instead of Googling and spending time scrolling through lengthy articles, you can just do a quick search and get your answers in one line. But that's not all. Inflection 1 also excels at identifying and correcting errors in code. So, if you're a programmer or working on a coding project, it can be a valuable tool to help you catch and fix those pesky mistakes. Here's where it gets interesting if you're tired of reading pages and pages of your course book. Just copy-paste it, and Inflection 1 will whip up a quick summary. And no, not like those word-to-word ones. Instead, you'll get a proper summary that'll explain everything with context. But here's the fun part. Inflection 1 is up for the challenge when it comes to answering open-ended, challenging, or even strange questions. So, feel free to test its limits and see how it responds to your most unconventional inquiries. It's like having a multi-talented AI companion at your disposal. They've actually performed really well across various measures. They tackled tasks like middle and high school level exam questions, and even those tricky common sense benchmarks. You know, questions like, what came first, the hen or the egg? Impressive, right? Now, there's one area where Inflection 1 falls behind, and that's coding. GPT 3.5 easily beats it in that department. And if we're comparing, GPT-4 is like a coding superstar, outperforming the competition. It's no surprise, though. OpenAI's GPT-4 is known to be a huge leap in quality when it comes to coding tasks. Interestingly, the AI community hasn't officially divided AI models into weight classes like in boxing. But you know what? It's still early days in the field, and there's no real consensus on what sizes and shapes of AI models should be considered similar. So, it's a bit premature to draw those boundaries. But who knows what the future holds? The AI landscape is constantly evolving, and we'll see how things unfold. And you know, when it comes down to it, the true test for these models is actually using them and seeing the results firsthand. We did test the Inflection 1 model, and one of the most interesting things that caught our attention was the fact that it completely molds the information to your liking. You know when you enter a query into ChatGPT and it just gives you a monotonous answer? Well, Inflection 1 takes it up a notch and whips up a custom order for you. You can train it to write like you. So despite all the benchmarks and claims that Inflection has put out there, it's important to take them with a grain of salt until their model is made widely available for use and undergoes independent evaluation. After all, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting, right? We can't really judge the true capabilities and performance of Inflection's model until it's opened up to the wider community and experts have a chance to dig into it and provide their objective assessments. So, both Inflection 1 and ChatGPT are these big language models that have been trained on huge amounts of text and code. They can do a lot of cool things like generating text, translating languages, writing creative content, and answering questions in an informative way. They're like these super smart language wizards. But there is a clear difference between the two in terms of training. ChatGPT apparently hasn't been trained with a bigger data set. On the flip side, Inflection 1 is much more accurate because of the bigger data set. For example, if you were to ask ChatGPT and Inflection 1 a similar question, you'll most likely get a better answer from Inflection 1. Other than that, the developers that made Inflection 1 are more open about how they trained the model. On the other hand, the developing process of ChatGPT is not known, but it doesn't really matter as long as it does the job. Now to address the elephant in the room. Is Inflection 1 just another face in the crowd? But you know, Inflection isn't your typical run-of-the-mill AI tool that gets lost in the crowd. It actually has some standout qualities that make it quite special. First things first, Inflection 1, the model they've created, is all about providing personal AI for everyone. They're not just catering to a select few, but aiming to make their AI accessible and useful for a wide range of people. So while the rest of the world will sound way too monotonous because of tools like ChatGPT, you will be able to stand out as the Inflection 1 will completely mimic your responses. That's a big deal because it means they're focused on tailoring the AI experience to individual needs, which sets them apart from others. It takes a lot of work to do it, but it's not really just about being personal. Inflection 1 can do a lot of other cool stuff too. We are talking about stuff that'll take your hours to do on your own. For example, if you have a table that you need to summarize real quick, all you gotta do is copy it onto the website and Inflection 1 will take care of it for you. It's like you have a cheat code that'll give you the ability to stand out from the crowd. Take this for example, all these Twitter gurus have been raving about AI tools, but now when you look at the posts, you're just like meh. But with Inflection 1, you can do so much more just because it acts as your AI chatbot rather than a general one. Users will feel a sense of ownership, and when you will use it more often, you guessed it right, it'll become more tailored to your commands. And here's the thing, right? You cannot say for sure that this tool is better than that one. They're all good at one thing or another. To get the best out of these tools, you can just see what works best for which task. Bard may be better for research, but Inflection 1 is like 100 times better in writing stuff. And yes, it might not be the best at coding tasks when compared to some other models like ChatGPT, but where it really excels is in being creative at things. And here's the thing, right? It's still in beta mode. You can expect it to top ChatGPT and Bard very soon. And with that, we are done. Let us know in the comments about what you think of this latest model by Inflections. And if yes, which AI tools do y'all use every day? We would love to know.